Okay, so we're still working on fractions, and this time we're going to use pattern block pieces. So here's my tools over here. So I'm going to first use one of the hexagons, and this is going to be my one whole. So this is like the number one. And I want to know the fractional pieces of this one. So if I want to cut this one with my red piece over here, how many of the trapezoids would it take? So if I put that there, can you already figure it out? How many reds would it take to complete that? Well, it took 1, 2. So if the hexagon is my 1, so I'm going to label it this time. If this is my one whole, then I now know that my trapezoids, and I'm going to label them, since it takes 2 of them, each of them is 1/2. This would be 1/2, and this would be 1/2 because it takes 2 to make a whole. So the red is 1/2 if I'm using the hexagon as my one whole. So what would these green triangles be? So I can take these out here and do the same thing and see how many triangles would it take. Can you already figure it out? So far it's taken 3 and I haven't completed it. Get in your head, how many green triangles is it going to take? Do you have a guess? Oh, hang on, he went behind, didn't he? Move him out of the way. So if I did 1, 2, 3, this would go there, 4, 5, and then that would be my 6th. So if I take my green triangle over here, I now know that it is each of those is 1/6 of the yellow because it took 6 of them to really complete that yellow hexagon. Well, how many blues would it take? Can you already kind of visualize it there? Going to have to turn him a little bit, aren't I? So I can go ahead and let's maybe use my green triangle a little bit. And I can kind of see that it takes 2 green triangles to equal 1 blue. And if it takes 6 of the green to make a hexagon, then I am thinking it would take half as many of the blues. Not the brown, I want the blues. Because if each of those are 2 green, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And if I could figure out how to turn them, I can kind of get my pieces to go together. And you can kind of see how it would make. So 1, 2, 3. So my blue, each of them is 1/3 of the yellow. So if you notice, what did I do here? Well, it's like the one that we did were equal shares. I had to use equal pieces. So I used 2 reds underneath over here to make one hexagon. So each of those are 1/2. 1 out of the 2 pieces, 1/2. When I use this, again, the green triangle, it took 6 total green triangles, equal shares, to make my one hexagon. So each triangle is 1 of the 6 pieces. My blue parallelograms here, it took 3 of them to make the one hexagon. So each of them is 1 of the 3 pieces, 1/3. So with that in mind, we are going to be using pattern block pieces and adding up fractions to get the total. So on this one, it's going to tell you how to use the slides. And so it's telling you to, in order to be able to write on it, you are going to go up here where it says insert, go down where it says line, and then you're going to hit scribble. So now you will be able to write on the slides and you can label your pieces. On this slide, it tells you in order to make these slides work, you need to turn off the snap settings. So in view, when it says snap, and you see how that there's a check mark, you're going to click that off. Now we're ready to go. So the rest of the slides are where you would do your work. So we're going to look at the first one together. Now, it is saying that the blue parallelogram is 1 whole. That is a whole number. That means the number 1. So how many of these would it take to complete this image? And they want you to find the total value. And so you can grab these pieces and you just drag them over. So right now my value is 1 because I've only used 1 piece. Now this was 1 and that is 1. So right now my total is 2 because each of these had the value of 1. Now I've used the value of 3. I've used the value of 4. And now I've used the value of 5. So if you notice, I'm going to scribble now. So this was 1. Here's 2. Here's, whoop. I moved my pieces. Hang on, let me put them back for you. There we go. So that was 1. That was 2. Here's 3. Here's 4. Whoops, he moved on me. Hang on. And then this one was 5. But if you look, I still have pieces down here. Now, do you remember where we were using the pattern block pieces and we were figuring out value? So I only have little shapes here. And if we look, that matches these green triangles. But if they're not the blue, so they're not the value of 1, I got to figure out what's the value of the green. So if this is 1, what is the value of green? So I'm going to use a different blue one so it's a little bit easier to see what I'm doing. So if this is 1, I'm going to bring my green triangle over, line it up. Ooh, so how many greens is it going to take? So you can't see, if you look, there's that one. Now you can kind of see it a little bit better. So if this is 1, how many green triangles did it take? Well, it took 2. So if you remember, we know that if it takes 2 pieces, each of those is a half. So this is a half and that is a half. When we have two of them together, it did equal 1. So these together equal another 1. So what is the value of our shape? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the 2 together make 6. So on this one, it's just the whole number of 6, and we can put that in there on the box. Now, you will have the other slides over here to do the same thing, but notice they change what the value is. In this case, the red trapezoid is 1. So then what's the total value? And they give you little templates up here for you to use in order to record your answer. So again, we want to remember we have to look at what is one whole. Feel free to label in order to count up. And to do that, you would come up and use the scribble, if you remember, and that will help you label and then be able to add up. So this is, again, practicing finding fractional equal shares of a whole.